Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning to each and every single one of you. Portuguese TV stations are telling us that today is the day that Manchester United could announce the signing of Bruno Fernandes. They feel that it's almost done. Conversations slowed down, of course, because both clubs had a football match to play yesterday. It could heat up over the course of today. I'm still personally, I'm still a little bit skeptical of the whole situation. I am, but I'm hoping that this news is true. That's my view, that's my opinion, but I want to gauge yours. It's why we're here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every single one of you. Do us a really big favor. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button as well. Two of the very best ways that you can support us here on the platform. It truly, truly is. A comment here from Ash. I love that comment. It says fan channels put pressure on clubs to invest. Now, I'm not sure that's true. I think we play a part the same as the fanzines, the same as ex-pros, the match-going fans, every single supporter that's on social media that tweets out, everybody puts pressure on them or attempt to put pressure on them. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So I wouldn't say it's an exclusively fan channels thing or a majority fan channel thing, but I get where you're coming from. Information, Terry, we waited long enough. Well, I set the stream up last night just because the news was already out. I just didn't have the time or the inclination to do it last night after a long day of live streaming and stuff. But essentially, Portuguese TV stations last night were running stories that the deal was imminent, that it had been practically agreed, and that it was likely that it would be announced over Sunday. One of them did say that it could stretch across until Monday. We know that the legalities behind these deals sometimes drags out, whether it be an issue with a sponsor, it could be getting information processed with governing bodies in relation to the FA, FIFA, UEFA, etc. Getting all those types of things sorted. Image rights can sometimes slow things down. But I hope, from my point of view, I just hope that the media stories are true. I truly hope they're true and it gets done, because there are loads of positions that need to be addressed at Man United. I mean, the manager's one of them, to be fair. But I just hope that, this area, this creative midfield role is addressed. You got to look at, again, I mean, the goals again. Bruno Fernandes, 2 more goals yesterday. Deadly player. He will add so much to Manchester United. And a few people here in the comments saying that he's going to Spurs. Ash says, what about the Spurs? Are they in for him? Hijacked incoming from Mourinho. Well, Ash, I did a video yesterday on that exact same subject. You can go and watch that. But essentially, it's funny actually. Is it? I want to pronounce it right. It's the Turkish outlet. Someone said they're Turkish. Is it beIN Sport, who Andy Graham, Richard Keys now work for? Somebody said to me, "Oh, they're a Turkish outlet. How the hell would they know?" Well, I watched the report that came from them, and it was from one of their journalists who was inside Old Trafford, right? So I sort of sat there and thought to myself, of course they could have been fed the right information. But what they've basically said, just to recap, is that United held talks over the course of Thursday with the player and maybe part of Friday. But also the senior representatives of Sporting Lisbon also held meetings with the London club. Most people believe that to be Tottenham. Now, as I've said all along, this could be Sporting trying to get United to hurry up their bid and agree to the deal. It could be a genuine ploy to create a bidding war. You may also have some interest from Tottenham and Sporting, a club who reportedly are in financial difficulties. It would make complete and utter sense for them to speak to other interested parties. They may get a better deal. They may get more cash up front if that's what they need. So it makes sense. For me, as I feel, if Bruno is the choice, if Bruno is the guy, if Bruno is the player that Man United want in this situation, then get it done. Don't allow any other club to, swim in your slipstream and then creep in front of you. That would be an absolute badness. Ashley says Spurs wouldn't pay. Spurs have paid, just go and look at the money they paid for Sissoko, as an example. Nobody. If you would have said a year ago that Tottenham would win the race for Ndombele, this was a player. By the way, I was impressed with Ndombele when he first started, but I know he's had injuries. But Ndombele is another one of those players hyped because people don't watch him play, and he comes to the Premier League and he needs time. He needs another season or so. But if you'd have said 12 months ago who's going to sign him, nobody would have put Spurs in front of Man City, Man United, Chelsea. But they pulled it off. So to say that Tottenham cannot come in here and sign him, I think is wrong. And I get that Spurs should be aiming for a striker, as many of you are saying in the comments. And that's true. But Spurs are not going to go out and sign a worldie striker. Do you know who would be decent for Spurs to go after, striker-wise? There's a lot of talk about Jimenez going to Man United. That would be the kind of striker I would go after if I was at Spurs. Someone that can replace the goals from Harry Kane between now and when he's fit and returning. And then someone who can really put the pressure on Kane. A few people said Zaha. Listen, Zaha ain't good enough, mate. Zaha is not good enough for a top 6 club. Watched him again yesterday against Arsenal. Amazing tricks, brilliant dribbler. But just, there is nothing at the end. He, for me, like Wilfried Zaha, I call him a friend zone football player. Does all the graft, does all the work, does everything he needs to. Takes him out on a date, buys him the flowers, buys him drinks. He's a gentleman, opens the car door, does it all perfect. But when it comes to scoring, gets friend zone, gets shut out every single time. Friend zone FC, mate, when it comes to Zaha. What do you guys see in Bruno? Well, do you know what? There's a tweet that was put out last night, and it made me laugh. And somebody said, I've never seen Bruno Fernandes play, but I'm reliably informed by thousands of other Man United fans who have never seen him play that he's really good. And I thought it was brilliant. From my point of view is this. I've watched him play 3 or 4 games for Lisbon, 3 or 4 games for Portugal. I think he's a tidy football player, good technique. What we know is that he's potent. He scores lots of goals, creates lots of opportunities. I've read scouting reports. It says he's good. Is that a guarantee for him to deliver in the Premier League? No. I mean, we only have to look at how long it took Fred. I just mentioned Ndombele. It's taking him time. We look at Naby Keita, who starting, I think he's picked up another injury, maybe being rotated, but starting to look like the player that we saw in Germany. So there are no guarantees that someone's going to come in and be brilliant from day one. Never, ever, ever. But there's a talent there, and there's something within him. And I truly hope that Man United get this deal done. It'll be a brilliant Sunday. After beating Norwich, it'd be brilliant to get it done. It'd be excellent to get him in this squad for 3 or 4 days before Man United play against Liverpool. Of course, there's the FA Cup replay in the middle of the week. So United need the bodies as well, with Pogba and with Scotty Mac both out injured. They need that, and there is also a bit of a space now in the squad, on the roster, as the Yanks would say, because I think Lingard's dead out here. I think he's done. We're now suddenly seeing Gomez in and around the team making substitute appearances. It's a shame, really, because that's a mistake from Ollie. Angel should have been involved a lot earlier. What we're now seeing in terms of the appearances from Angel Gomez, that should have been happening since August, where you kind of, I felt like Gomez should have been getting bled into this team in the same way we've seen with Mason Greenwood. And the reason I said, I go back to what I was talking about at the end of the season. When Sanchez left, when Lukaku left, everyone's been banging on about not replacing them. And sometimes you have to self-reflect, and I get that. I don't think either of those 2 players leaving has been a problem. replacing them has. But if you think about it, Sanchez has been replaced because 9 goals this season from Maddison. That's 9 goals in a little bit of August, but September, October, November, December, a little bit January. So 3.5 to 4 months, right, of football. He scored more goals in 3.5 months at Greenwood than Alexis Sanchez did in 18 months. He's replaced. Has he replaced Lukaku's goals? Not completely, but he could reach 20 goals in all competitions this season, which is partially replaced. I felt that between Chong and Gomez, you could replace the outputs of Alexis Sanchez. Now, we need more than what Sanchez and we need more than what Lukaku were delivering for Man United. But in terms of replacing those guys, numbers-wise, it's almost been done. The problem is that we kept on still using Pereira, but we kept on using Lingard. And Lingard hasn't scored or created a goal in the Premier League in a year. I think he scored 1 goal, that was in the Europa League outside of it. The fact that they kept on giving him game time, it's one of those. I think it's one of those things that's compounded people's opinions against Ollie. I really do. Let's jump into some more of your live comments. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please do. Terry Have Hope has inducted you into the Class B of the Brick Academy. Yeah, listen, Have Hope's my guy. Have Hope should be in the studio this week actually. He can do that. And I know I triggered a lot of people yesterday. If you go onto the community page here on YouTube, I just put out some statistics, and it was the goals and assists that Cristiano Ronaldo, Thierry Henry, and Rashford had after their first 200 senior appearances. And Rashford has more goals than both of them, and is only slightly behind Ronaldo on the assist charts. And the triggered responses that's generated is amazing. And I'm starting to see that with the Bruno Fernandes situation. I'm starting to see a lot of trash being spoke about him online. That tells me there's talent. And the fact that people don't want to... It's funny, loads of people are saying to me, like, Rashford, though, he's a penalty merchant. And I'll bring this back to Fernandes in a minute. Rashford's a penalty merchant. He'll never get to Henry's. He'll never get to Ronaldo's level. How dare you compare them, blah, blah, blah. A lot of things I hear people say about Rashford. What's he done in finals? What about his penalties? This is the same narrative. These are the same challenges, the same bitter buffers that were put in the way or thrown out there and put towards Cristiano Ronaldo for the majority of his career. Whenever people spoke about him being the GOAT or being one of the greatest of all time, yeah, but if you remove his penalties, yeah, but if you remove, people come out with these weird, obscure things. Well, how many goals did he score that were the match winners, were the equalisers, were the important goals, or how many were the 4 for 5 and they weren't important? I now see people doing the same thing with Rashford, and I love it because it demonstrates the fact that they know he's brilliant. The same thing's going to happen with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, but he scores penalties here. Yeah, this league he's done it. It doesn't. Oh, look, he played against Arsenal once and he didn't have a good game. The fact that people are throwing out the salt early tells me the level of player he is. And there's two players behind me right now on the wall. You've got Mason Greenwood here. You can't quite see him, but there's Trent Alexander-Arnold, 2 of my favourite players in the world at the moment. And both of them get the same treatment. Both of them get the same treatment from rival fans. They look for every reason in the world. If Greenwood has a game where he doesn't score, he's absolutely ripped to shreds. If there's a game where Trent might get nutmegged, Trent might get dribbled past, suddenly everyone's on his back the whole time. The fact that people react this quickly towards a player having a bad game or a singular bad moment in a match tells you how brilliant they are. So whether you're a Chelsea fan and people are doing it with Tammy, whether you're a City fan and people do it with Foden, people rate your player if they're quick, if they're like a dog in heat when they're jumping on that criticism, they're great. But there we go. Someone says it's confirmed. Is it? I don't know. 19 goals in all, only 22 season. When I said that Rashford would score over 20 goals in all competitions, I actually auditioned for a show that's like an official Premier League show on YouTube. And I auditioned for it, and I got the feedback that they said, "Oh, we liked what you were doing." They said, "But you lost us when you started talking about." They asked for in the audition. They asked for like 3 predictions. I don't remember what the third one was, but my first 2 were Liverpool were going to win the league, at a canter, and that Rashford was going to have the best season of his career and score over 25 goals in all competitions. And they told me that both those predictions were like outlandish. They were like, oh, we thought they were a little bit far-fetched. Now, I'm not one of these people that like, the only reason I'm happy that Rashford's scoring so many goals is because it's making Man United better. But people just, they actually called me mad. People like legitimately said I was mad when I said Rashford was going to score that many goals this year, and he is 22. And look, will he ever reach the levels of Henry and Ronaldo? I don't think so. You're talking about two iconic football players. Some people are throwing out, oh, but after his first 200 games, Mbappe had 116 goals. Because Mbappe is the guy. But not being as good as Mbappe doesn't make you trash. Not reaching Cristiano Ronaldo's levels by the time you hit your peak ages doesn't make you a bad football player. People have got to learn to debate and also understand that that is not an argument. Well, he ain't as good as this guy. Yeah, but you're comparing him against the best in that age range. That's cool. Do you know what I mean? Imagine being you're a rapper, right? And you're selling a good amount of albums. Every album you release is doing 2 or 3 million sales worldwide. You're selling out tours. You know, music videos getting hundreds of millions of views on YouTube, right? Imagine the only criticism people had for you is you're not as good as Drake. You're not as good as Kendrick. Not as good as Dre was. Imagine that's your criticism. I'll be buzzing on that. You know, imagine you have a brilliant year at work. You're not the best, but you have a brilliant year. And you get criticised. So I said, oh yeah, but you're not as good as the guy who's the best. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. He's better than me, but I'm better than pretty much everyone else. Like, it's not a criticism. And you are clutching, you are stretching at straws. And that's what I'm seeing at the moment on social media. There's a lot of hate and a lot of aggression and a lot of anger towards Man United signing Bruno Fernandes. And it's because this is what football fans do. One person comes out of a bit of banter, like United are a dead club, they can't sign anybody anymore. They definitely won't sign anybody that's non-British. Suddenly, Man United are linked with a player who's non-British, who everybody's been talking about, who's scoring lots of goals, very creative, who Cristiano Ronaldo thinks is brilliant. And suddenly, it stems anger within these people because they've started to... People nowadays, they're so ill that they hear a bit of banter and they start to believe that banter is fact, and now it upsets them. But there we go. Bruno probably will teach Ollie a few things. Look, that's another discussion for another day. And I think everyone knows my views on Ollie. Everyone knows my views on the direction the club is going in under him. And, you know, it's like little things. Like, I'll say congratulations for yesterday because United were really, really good. Do I think we'll beat Wolves? I'm nervous. Do I think we'll beat Liverpool? No, I would take a draw against Liverpool right now all day long. Ollie must be allowed to build, then see where he goes. He has my full backing regardless, is what Ultra says. Fair enough. And you know what? You're entitled to back him. And I respect that. I'm happy to be proven wrong. If he's given time and he turns things round and United go back to winning ways, I'm a happy man. So this is Terry, no Liverpool players on my wall. Yeah, look, this is the Football Terrace. It's a channel where we cover the traditional top 6 in the Premier League. So I have representation. There's Liverpool up. Who else we got up there? With Chelsea, with Pulisic. Excuse me. So yeah, we have to mix it up a bit. We have to make sure we're not... You know, if I just have a wall full of Man United memorabilia and pictures, it's not right. So can't do that. I'm late. Can I have a recap? Max, you can. Recap for everybody. Please make sure you're all hitting that like and share button. Portuguese media reporting that Man United and the signing of Bruno Fernandes is very close. It's imminent. The majority of the deal is done, and the announcement could be made today. Let me reiterate for the brain dead and for the haters. This is a Portuguese report. It's coming from Portuguese TV that this deal is nearly Done. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it as it stands. But how are people feeling? Last couple of minutes I want to spend on how are people feeling about this potential deal? I'd love to know. Joel here says, have hope thinks Tammy is better than Rashford in all aspects. Well, he's not. And we know that he's not. We know he's not better. Do you know one thing that Tammy's not better than Rashford at? Penalties. Someone said to me the other day, well, yeah, my winger doesn't take penalties and yours does. I was like, well, that's because your winger ain't good enough. You're actually admitting, right? You're actually admitting that there's something that my player is better than your player at. Because being good at penalties is like a real thing. That's why teams practice them and they pick the best guy to take them. And it's only being a penalty taker now has only become like I was talking to a Liverpool fan not long ago, and he was telling me that penalties don't count as much. And I'm like, okay, cool then. I think it was like you have to remove like 45 of Steven Gerrard's goals off of his total. I said, I was going to take 45 goals off Gerrard's total. He went, no, Gerrard's was different. People are mad. People are mad when it comes to that. Like they it's a nonsense. It's a nonsense. Because you know what? If he wasn't good at them, he wouldn't be taking them. Somebody else would. And I get people's point that if Tammy Abraham was taking penalties, he'd have more goals. But he doesn't take them. Why doesn't he take them? Because there's at least two people in the team that are better than him at that. And for me, I always worry about the clinical edge of a striker that's not good at penalties. I genuinely worry about that. Like, if you ever had a striker in your team who steps to take a penalty and you're nervous, I was always worried about Andy Cole's a great example. I rate him, but I would never really, I'd never want Andy Cole on a penalty. I think I just it's about how you strike a ball, and I wouldn't want him doing it. You know, I wouldn't want him doing it. But there we go. Maybe that's just me. Excuse me. Rashford scores more from the wing and scores against the big teams as well. Tammy is good, but Rashford is better. This is it. It's interesting. A lot of the criticisms that I see thrown at particular players, people ignore when it comes to the Tammy Rashford debate. My point of view is this. Tammy is a better number 9. Rashford is a better inside forward or winger. That's it. That's it. There isn't a debate to be had. Yeah, that's it. It's as simple as that. You know, you think about the England setup. So England are going to play some games without Harry Kane across like February, March time. Great opportunity to have Rush. It's funny as well with Rashford because it wasn't that many months ago where people were like, that's it, he's out of the England starting lineup now. The issue is, I mean, I think he actually keeps Sancho out of the team at the moment, which is crazy. Yeah, that shows the talent England's got. When everybody's fit, you've got Kane and Tammy that I think are the leading two strikers. Inside forwards, you've got Raheem Sterling and Jadon Sancho. It's crazy. It's so good. But Rashford now, you know, his goal contributions in the past 3 months, colossal. Tammy is English as well, so what's your point? Oh, he's having a go at Zed. Yeah, like when it comes to the Tammy Rashford debate, nobody goes, oh, you're hyping up the Englishman. That's why those nationality things are nonsense. Absolute nonsense. People just throw in, oh, you're only hyping someone because they're English. Okay. What about when they're both English? There we go. Someone here says, Vardy probably better than everyone else when it comes to shooting and scoring so late in his career. It's true, but from an England point of view, he's retired, so he doesn't come into the equation. Vardy's a quality player. It also goes to show that if they keep working hard. And the one thing I read about Tammy and I read about Rashford that encourages me so much is that you read that they work so hard. They haven't stopped trying to progress themselves, and I think that's important. And then what you've got from an England point of view is young Mason Greenwood. You know, this boy has got 9 goals this season. 9 goals. And you've got to think in the opening 2 or 3 months, he was used very sparingly. He's only going to get better. Bruno played yesterday, scored 2 goals. Would he play if the deal was close? It's a good challenge. It's a good challenge to the media that are putting that story out there. I suppose there's an element of until the deal's done, he's going to play. Is he going to, excuse me, is he respecting? He's going to respect his club, respect his teammates. As an example, maybe the deal. You got to remember this story about the deal becoming close broke about 11, 12 o'clock last night. So maybe after the game, the conversations accelerated. Maybe in that time period, the deal became a lot closer. I'm not too sure on the specifics because I'm not the one who was given the information. But yeah, it's a fair challenge. What do you think about Man United launching a £12 million bid for Jude? Is that Bellingham? Yeah, this is that. Is it that young 16, 17-year-old kid from Birmingham, I believe? Yeah, I heard about that. I mean, look, yeah, the kid's talented. I've heard. I don't know much about him. Never seen him play. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Yeah, them kind of signings. I mean, I like the sound of because you could get him in now early. Could go on to be an absolute baller. It's as simple as that. Gabriel Martinelli is a talent. He is very much a talent. He's very much a talent, and Arsenal fans should be very excited about the future with him in it. Absolutely. Just don't get yourself into this weird. All right, he's similar age to Greenwood. That's it. That's there. They're going to be paired together for years now, twin together, and then just played off against one another. It's crazy. Please stop speculating. We're not speculating. The media is. We're discussing the stories as a community. Get with the program about why we're here, my bro. We're not sitting here like giving you news like a news channel. This is a community where we sit and talk football. Terry, every fan from other clubs are jealous about us signing Bruno. Yeah, they are. You know they're jealous if they're throwing salt, if they're throwing some shade before he's even kicked a ball. And remember, with what will happen, if after 1 or 2 games he hasn't scored 3 or 4 goals, they're going to come out swinging. Just be strong enough to repel it. Just have that alpha still and don't allow it to bother your psyche because they're predictable. They're predictable as the day is long. That if he doesn't come in and score on his debut, if he doesn't come in and be, peak David Silva or peak Lampard from the goal point of view from day one, they're gonna be straight, flop, 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 flop. Just ignore them. I know they're gonna do that. It's because it's what they do. They follow the same pattern with every single signing. And if he comes in and starts doing really, really well, they'll find an excuse. But he did it against that side. But this helped him. There'll be excuses for it. So don't ever expect them to praise him. Some will, but I'm talking about the trolls. They'll jump on his back if he ain't 10 out of 10 straight away. And if he is 10 out of 10 straight away, they will look for excuses and caveats in that performance. Just like Rashford. Rashford, he ain't getting no 20 goals in the season. He's currently sitting on 19. Yeah, but penalties. Yeah, but tap-ins. Someone actually said to me yesterday, but how many of his goals have been decisive? And I'm like, well, scored a few winners against Chelsea, scored the first against Liverpool as an example. Scored the first and second yesterday. Scored the goal that put Man United in front when playing against Sheffield United as examples here. Got an equaliser. He didn't even get the goal awarded to him, but his header that led to the equaliser against Aston Villa is another. And these are just off the top of my head. If I was actually sit there and go through them, loads of important goals that have been scored by him. Not to mention his great free kick this season. But people will always look to do that. So I think one of these things for me is ignore it, because that's how you know your player is brilliant. When people say he'll never reach these achievements, these goals, these standards, when they get there, if they then go to move the goalposts to, but this and this and this, you shut down the debate, because those people, they don't have the maturity, the brain capacity, or the honour to admit when they were wrong about somebody. So they're no longer worth having discussions with, I'm very happy to, I've criticised players and come out quite quickly and retracted it, because I've done it on emotion or whatever. I'm equally very happy to say I've got something wrong. This player's impressing me now. This player's not. Anyone who just keeps changing and moving those goalposts, they're not worth the time and debate. One super chat come through here. It says potential future golden generation for England. Yeah, I don't really want to use the term golden generation because we did that before, but there certainly is. I think an area I'm concerned about with England is centre backs. Are we producing world class centre backs? I don't know. I don't know if we are. Central midfielders, jury's still out. But every other position, fullbacks, goalkeepers, attackers, there's so much talent. There really, really is. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much for doing so. Hit that like button. Please hit the share button as well. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.